Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for joining our Q1 training recap. This is a recap of the training that we did for Q1 in person at a number of different locations. Thank you for all of you that have joined us this afternoon and tuned in to listen to some of the things that are happening here in Q1 at Medicare by AMA. So I'm just going to introduce you. We've got a number of people on the line here today that are going to be supporting us. So first of all, we've got Michael Lujan. Some of you may have heard Michael on some of our Friday calls, an advisor and partner with AMA. And here's Michael. Hi, Michael. Welcome.
Good afternoon, everyone. Hi.
Thanks for joining us today. Michael will be taking you through some of this. And also we've got Judy Daniels here as well. Judy Daniels, as most of you know already, works for Berwick Insurance Group. She is our Director of Sales and Recruitment for California and some of Southern Nevada as well. Judy will be running through some of our topics, in particular looking at our D-SNP population. Okay, so without further ado, let's get started. Excuse me. So first of all, we're going to look through some updates. I'm going to talk you guys through some updates today, what's happening in the world of Medicare, also some updates with AMA, what we're doing a little differently. You might have seen a few things recently that's changed. For one of them, our platform for doing our webinars is going to be on GoToWebinar. So that's just one of the things that you might have seen. We're going to talk through those updates. Then we're going to talk through our section on how to sell dual special needs plans. And that's what Judy will be covering for you guys today. So really good content, particularly this time of year. We're coming to the end of Q1, which is going into lock-in, and our special needs plans, our dual special needs plans in particular, are one way that you can really continue selling year round. So Judy will be covering that as well. Michael's going to take a look at our Medicare marketing. In particular, we sent out a survey a few weeks ago. There'll be some results on that, but also some key points on marketing. And then I'm going to talk a little bit about closing out Q1 strong. Some of those things you might have heard a little bit on our Friday calls, but we're just going to put things together at the end there, and we should be done fairly quickly. I would say just over an hour is going to be about the time we're going to be looking at today, guys. So as you may have seen, AMA is growing, new branding, new website, tools and resources. As you can see here with our little cone, we are under construction, guys. So there are many things that are in the works. For example, our new agent portal is in the works. That's going to be ready for you guys fairly soon. And a lot of new things that we're going to be bringing to our agents and agencies as well. So whether you're joining this live or watching the recorded version, there's lots of things happening on the horizon. There's going to be more tools for you as well, more marketing resources, and obviously our team is going to grow even further, as you can see already with Michael and some of the changes. We're growing that now, but you'll start to see things change over the next few months. And of course, you know we're not perfect, guys. We are working to be that Medicare partner that you all deserve. And that's what we're going to want to continue to strive towards. Obviously, if there's anything that you need from us, any particular trainings, etc., that you are looking for, please reach out. Please, our door is open, and that's one of the things that we take pride in, is being that agency for the agents. So we are here as a community to support and help our agents. And that brings me to the last point on here. You can see in red there, you'll never work alone. You've probably seen that tagline on some of our new materials, and you're probably thinking, where has it come from? So I'm going to tell you a little story. So as all of you, or most of you will know, I'm originally from the UK, and essentially I love soccer, or I would call it football. My team is Liverpool Football Club, and they have had a branding and part of their catchline is really you'll never walk alone. And that has been with the club for over 120 years. And that's embedded from every single person to do with the club. That's from all their executives to the players to the coaches, you name it. And all of the fans are part of that as well. And a very big, important piece to that. And over the years, they have been through a number of tragedies and challenges. And really what's kind of brought and kept everybody together at that club is that meaning towards that you'll never walk alone. And that's the fact. There's been some horrific things happened, and even a couple of years ago, you know, they went to a final and there was lots of issues there, but together, and again under that tagline, you'll never walk alone, they were able to actually get things expedited, and they all ended up having a refund to their final tickets. So the tickets to that final, that was lots of issues a couple of years ago, they got a refund because they worked together and they were that whole one club. And I think that's very important to me personally, because when I started AMA, it was all about creating a community of agents, somewhere where you guys can ask questions, learn off each other. And many agents already have created friendships and really learnt to work with each other, and have enjoyed that piece as well. So that's one of the things that AMA is going to continue to do as we grow, work as a community of agents, almost like your second family. And I know a lot of you I've got a great relationship with already. Any of you that are brand new, then that's going to hopefully build over time as well. So that's really what I wanted to show you around that tagline that you would have seen this year as well. Okay, so we're going to talk through a couple of things here on As I See It. So you probably have seen over the last few months here, call recording has been spoken about quite a lot. It came into effect in October last year, and what happened, to be honest, I know a lot of you saw it as a huge pain. A lot of agents did adapt, and luckily we had some tools to use, so agents used our tools. We hear you guys. Yes, it was difficult. I think we were caught cold with it, and we're going to be working with you to make sure this call recording is going to be part of your everyday life and make it as easy as possible. I think your clients understood it was for their protection, but there was unprepared agents that even exited our business because of it. And that was a real shame. And you saw some people break the rules. So again, I want to make sure that we're here with some of these difficult conversations, some of these difficult topics. That's our role. That's our job, to be with you and make it as easy as possible so you can do what you do best every day, which is out there in front of our seniors. Some of the proposed regulations for 2024 you might have seen. We covered it a few weeks ago on one of our Friday virtual coffees. And again, this is going to be the messaging kind of going forward here. These calls are not going away. This call recording is not going away. There may be some relaxed rules that are going to come into effect this year. It might be just that it's going to apply for sales or enrollment calls. So that's going to relax those up a bit. But there are also some other marketing rule changes that are proposed. We don't know whether they're going to be final yet. We won't know till May this year, but we'll keep you informed. We'll keep you front of mind and make sure you know exactly what you can and can't do. And if these rules affect you, we will keep you posted when and if any of this changes. Also, on As I See It, you might have seen the State of the Union last month. Medicare, we know, needs strengthening, but it's here to stay, guys. You probably heard from our president, do not mess with Medicare. There's now over 28 million people enrolled into Medicare Advantage plans. And the Medicare agreement is bipartisan. It's really supported by both sides of the aisle, both parties. Really, really important. And I know some of the parties were called out and they were like, no, we're with this. And yes, Medicare needs improving. It needs strengthening. There's, rumors about affordability, etc. But the reality is, it's one of our best processes for healthcare in the US. And really, the messaging is, don't mess with it. That creates opportunities for us. And I think here, again, on, as I see it, if we talk about playing offense, as a lot of you know, I love sport here. So we're going to talk from the sporting analogy of playing offense. Medicare is here to stay. It's a year-round business now. More than ever, it's a year-round business. We've got a number of weather-related SEPs. Even very recently, the local California storms has given many carriers the opportunity to offer this SEP on top of what we previously had. You've got opportunities to increase D-SNP clients as well, C-SNP. These are all things that are going to help you sell year round. Don't forget our T65 clients. Absolutely important here. Even for the rest of this year, I calculated there's nearly 9,900 clients still turning 65 every single month for this year. And that's the average. So some months are higher, some are lower. So you can see there's still a ton of business out there as well. Also, the Medicare Advantage penetration growth is going to go up. So currently we have around 48% of our clients nationwide on Medicare Advantage plans. That's going to increase to 61% over the next 10 years. So that's a 13% opportunity on top of what you're selling today. So what you're selling today, you should be able to increase your business by at least another 13% every year for the next 10 years here. The other part of this is we spoke about that call recording. And then many of you have said to me, Neil, you know what? It feels like they're trying to drive business away from agents. Well, if they are, if the federal government is, guess what? It's not them who make that decision. The one person that makes the decision about where this business is going and how this business is going to be written is the consumer. The consumer will ultimately decide that. And this survey by Accenture, 77% of consumers prefer being advised by somebody in person. In person, face to face. That's where this business was built around. You've got to remember, before 2020, before the pandemic, majority of this business was built by face to face, sat in somebody's kitchen. Yeah, well, it may not be a kitchen now. It might be a kiosk. It might be at one of our Medicare resource centers. But you have the consumers stating that they want somebody. It's a complicated subject and topic. They want somebody to sit in front of them to be able to advise them on this current Medicare, on the information, the Medicare 101 side of it, and even all the different carriers' information that's out there. These are reasons, guys, to be happy in the fact we're in a business that's not only recession proof, it was COVID proof, it proved that already, but now it's going to grow for the next 10 years. Change equals opportunity. So one of the things that I talk about is change. Our business is always changing. That creates opportunity for those agents that want to take that opportunity. Some agents quit due to the CMS rule changes. That was sad. That's not what I want to see. I'm very pro agent. I love you guys. I love agents in general. I know we do the right thing. Day in, day out, generally, we try and do the right thing for our clients. And we are needed out there. And it was sad to see some agents deciding to quit because of some of the things that happened. So maybe people like myself, we got to do a better job of keeping you up to date with what's going on, but helping you make your job easier. So we're going to absolutely strive to do that. Business planning. If you have not written your business plan yet, or you've still got time to sharpen your business plan, this is the time to do it, guys. This is absolutely the time to spend a little bit of time going through what you'd written down maybe at the beginning of the year. Maybe things have changed, things that are not working. You want to take out your business plan, or maybe alter them slightly. Things that are working, keep in it and do it again. Don't forget, refresh your marketing tools. Every year we have a number of documents, a number of things that will allow you to get those marketing tools refreshed or changed. And you've got to go out there and absolutely be the proponents of yourselves. Don't forget, you're independent. That means you are the entrepreneurs running your business. You have to tell people that you are selling Medicare. You've got to get the word out there. Yes, you've got people to support you, like AMA, like Berwick, and other people that are close to you guys and want to see your success. But you've got to put that effort in as well and that time in to do that. And we'll talk about that a bit later. There are changes all the time, new plans, new medical groups, changes within medical groups. This has been a theme of the current last 12 months. This creates opportunities. Whenever there's a new plan, that creates opportunities. Whenever there's a change where a medical group maybe loses that relationship with a plan, that's opportunity. And if you can get in front of either the medical group or the carrier and support that, then you will help grow your business. The last part is that D-SNP, the dual eligibles. Whether you're in Nevada, whether you're in California, it doesn't matter. You have opportunity once a quarter to write that client on a D-SNP. There are thousands of clients walking around with Medicare Part A and B, plus Medicaid or Medi-Cal. They don't have a plan with it. And really, the federal government are trying to get these clients on a managed care plan because generally speaking, it costs less. Costs less for the client, it costs less for the insurance company, and it costs less for the federal government. That's why they want to do that. There's less days in the hospital, there's less illnesses. Everything is around getting these dual eligible clients on a D-SNP plan. So even some of those people in California that were crosswalked or that were changed, you know, were they moved correctly? Were they crosswalked correctly into the right plan? Did they even know they were moved? So there are a lot of questions out there, and that brings me nicely on to the next topic we're going to talk about. And I'm going to introduce you to Ms. Judy Daniels, who's going to be on the line now to talk to you all about our dual eligible options. Hi, Judy, are you there?
I am. And thank you so much, Neil. I appreciate the opportunity to talk to your agents and prospective agents about how to sell dual special needs plans. So this is going to be for this year. This is updated information for you. And I always like working with AMA because they are making a point to get the timely information out to you agents. So when you have the red, white, and blue Medicare card, as well as a Medicaid or Medi-Cal card, that makes a person dual eligible. And in California, there's over 1.5 million people eligible for dual special needs plans that have both Medicare and Medi-Cal in California. In Nevada, there's about 80,000 people who are eligible for dual special needs plans. And that's taking into consideration the fact that, you know, people have full Medi-Cal and full Medicare, and that way that makes them the Medi-Medis. But why would you want to sell these dual special needs plans? And I wanted to go over some facts with you to take the myths totally out of it. So dual consumers consist of people who are 65 and older, but also those folks who are under 65 that qualified for Medicare because of a disability. Remember, if you've been on Social Security disability for at least 24 consecutive months, no matter what your age is, you qualify for Medicare. And the fact that these folks are not working usually because they are disabled means that they also probably qualify for Medicaid or Medi-Cal. Don't forget, too, that people who have been diagnosed with ALS or Lou Gehrig's disease also qualify for Medicare, no matter what their age is, you know, based on the first month of diagnosis, because quite frankly, they're going to die. And those folks who are on kidney dialysis in their 4th month of dialysis also qualify for Medicare. So the dual consumer population that's under 65 is growing at a fast pace. And the average retention rate for dual members, dual special needs plan members, is 3.6 years. Many of these folks move. A lot of them may also be moved to a share of cost status with Medicaid or Medi-Cal because perhaps they didn't send in their annual attestation letter or their redetermination letter. So once they get that taken care of course, they can come back to full Medi-Cal or Medicaid and have a dual special needs plan again. Dual plan beneficiaries receive a lot of additional benefits. That includes in-home wellness visits, dental coverage, adult daycare, acupuncture and chiropractic, even meals when they're discharged from a hospital, transportation. Many plans even offer unlimited transportation for them, wellness resources, healthy benefits, and even mental health. And mental health has become very important, especially in light of COVID the past few years. There's a lot of people who have been shut in. People are not able to socialize as easily as they did because they had a fear of getting sick or spreading germs. So a lot of people are suffering from depression as well as their other medical ailments. So these plans do offer the affordability for them to go and see a mental health professional, not only for the psychiatry for medications, but also for counseling in the form of a psychologist. Health plans do receive, by the way, extra money to administer these dual special needs plans so that they can give them the extras that this person may need. They usually, the people who are dual have a lot of extra needs based on a lot of health issues that they might have. But most importantly for you, I'm always looking at what's in it for you as an agent, is that the agents are making the same amount of commission as they would with regular Medicare Advantage plans. So your commission rate is not less. As a matter of fact, it's the same. So when agents add these dual special needs plans to their portfolio of products that they're offering out there, they also see an increase in production for all of the lines of insurance that they offer, whether it's property like homeowners insurance, whether it's auto insurance, whether it's life insurance, whether it's annuities. It tends to grow that book of business as well. So you can feel good offering a dual special needs plan because the members truly appreciate the plan. As a matter of fact, duals are 3 times as likely to be living with a disabling condition, as we talked about earlier, but also 30% of them live alone. So they need these extra services. 70% of the folks have mobile phones, but what kind of phone do they have? Usually a flip phone. And a flip phone limits them to things that they can do online. And speaking of online, 40% of the folks who are duals have the active email. However, a lot of them are getting their email by going down to the library. They don't have Wi-Fi at home, or perhaps they don't have the computer or laptop in order to access their email. So these folks have the need to be seen in person many times because they are limited to be able to do things online or over the phone. Next slide. There we go. So let's talk about eligibility for the dual special needs plans. So first of all, folks do have to have Medicaid or Medi-Cal in his or her state. They have to be qualified for that full Medicaid or Medi-Cal. The prospect also has to qualify for Medicare Part A and Part B for their original Medicare. They can't just have Part B. Now, there's a lot of folks walking around out there that have only Part B on their Medicare card. Why would that be? Well, it's because they've gone down to Social Security, they've applied for the Medicare, but they were mistakenly told that they didn't qualify for Part A. Well, if you qualify for Part A Medicare, or excuse me, Part B Medicare, you do qualify for Part A. The qualifications are the same. However, there's a lot of folks who may not qualify for free Part A because they didn't pay into those FICA taxes or Social Security taxes for at least 10 years or 40 quarters. So the person at the Social Security office tells them that they don't qualify. They don't further clarify by saying you don't qualify for free Part A. They further don't even offer an explanation that they can buy their Medicare Part A and that it would have a monthly premium, the most of which is $506 a month. But if somebody has a Medicare Savings Program, QMB, Qualified Medicare Beneficiary Status, that will pay for their Part A premium for them. Medicaid and Medi-Cal in California does pay for the Medicare Part B premium, but it does not pay for Part A. But they can qualify for the Medicare Savings Program, as I said. So there is opportunity for you to also gain clients by helping people to apply for the Medicare Part A and getting their Medicare Savings Program Qualified Medicare Beneficiary Status at the same time to pay for it. And the prospect, by the way, for a dual special needs plan does have to live in that D-SNP's coverage area. Many of these are divided out by the county. So not all counties offer D-SNPs. Not all plans have their dual special needs plan in all counties. So it just depends. But the prospect would have to live in that coverage area for that particular plan that they're applying for. And they would have to meet the dual special needs plan's health requirements if it has any. And you'll see here on the chart that in the gray area, I've actually described what the acronyms stand for. And an FBDE is a full benefit dual eligible. So in other words, they are full eligible for their Medicaid or Medi-Cal. And note that in the column for the Part A premium, it does not pay for their Part A, but it does pay for the Part B. But if you look at QMB or Qualified Medicare Beneficiary status, whether it's QMB only or QMB plus, you'll note that the Part A premium is paid for as well as the Part B premium. So this is again where you would be able to have somebody be either QMB plus or QMB only and have their Medicare Part A paid for. Now, what the heck is plus, Judy? Well, plus means that they have the QMB status through the Medicare Savings Program, but also have full Medicaid or Medi-Cal. And that is perfectly okay for them to have both. But some people only want a qualified Medicare beneficiary status and not Medicaid or Medi-Cal because they're concerned about the estate recovery program. And if that's the case, they certainly could have the QMB status only or QMB plus, but the QMB status gives them the ability to have their Part A and Part B premiums paid for and any copays that Medicare leaves for the beneficiary to pay, whether they're on fee-for-service Medicare, which would mean that they just have the red, white, and blue card, or whether they have a Medicare Advantage plan. If they have a Medicare Advantage plan and they have some copays, those would be picked up by the QMB status, just like it would if they had Medicaid or Medi-Cal. Next slide. And there we go. So if you have a dual status, you have both Medicare and Medicaid or Medi-Cal, you do have a special enrollment period every quarter. So you can make a change every quarter, once per quarter. You can enroll into a Medicare Advantage plan for the first time or a Part D plan for the first time. You can change those plans or you can disenroll from them once per quarter. But in the fourth quarter, you'd have to use the annual election period enrollment period, and that would take effect January 1st. But that's where you could use a suggested special enrollment period. If there's a 5-star plan out there like Select Health was last year, you could enroll persons in that once per year. So that's how you could have enrolled somebody who didn't otherwise have a special election period for a November 1st or December 1st start date instead of having to wait for January 1st. Or if they were newly gaining their status as a Medicare, Medi-Cal or Medicaid beneficiary, or they lost their coverage for Medicaid or Medi-Cal, or their level changed, then they would be able to also have a special election period during that fourth quarter. Same thing if they were part of the areas that might have had a weather-related special election period because of the emergency. That also would have been a way that they could have changed during the fourth quarter. The best resources, by the way, for the election periods would be those booklets that are issued by United Healthcare or Humana. They tend to have the best election period booklets out there as a resource. Next slide. So here's some notes for the dual special needs plans eligibility. First of all, information, training, keeping up to date, all of that is key to knowing what plans are available for the people that are out there that you're talking to. In 2022, there were some carrier dual special needs plans that also allowed the partial duals in California, like the QMB status or the special low-income Medicare beneficiary status and so on. But in California, starting this year, you have to have full Medi-Cal or Medicaid. Now in Nevada, by the way, you can still get the dual special needs plans if you have the QMB status. So you don't have to have the full Medicaid over in Nevada. Now, dual special needs plans do vary by state and county. As I said earlier, they're not available in every county. They're also not available in every state. If a person does leave, like let's say the state of Nevada, and they want to come to California and they have Medicaid, well, they'd have to apply for Medi-Cal in California. That Medicaid does not move with them from one state to another. It does move with them from one county to another, but not from one state to another. By the way, if no dual special needs plan is available, there may be a lookalike plan available. For example, in Northern California, the United Healthcare Assure plan in Northern California was able to continue to be offered because of the number of members that they had in that plan. Otherwise, as you know, the lookalike plans were discontinued on a national basis or terminated on a national basis. But in this case, there was an exception up in Northern California. Now, dual eligibles don't have to enroll in a dual special needs plan. They can enroll in any Medicare Advantage plan that they qualify for, and Medicaid or Medi-Cal will pick up any copays that they have for those Part A and B services. However, it's the extras that sometimes matter, excuse me, the most to people. So for example, if someone needs hearing aids, if they're in a regular Medicare Advantage plan, their Medicaid or Medi-Cal isn't going to pick up a copay of $3.99 or $4.99. But if they're in a dual special needs plan, they'll have something like an extra such as hearing aids. That would be a zero copay up to $2,500 or $3,000. So this is where the dual special needs plans, if they're available, might be a better option for somebody because of the fact that they're going to get those extras at a zero copay, those things that are very, very important for them. Next slide. So there's been some recent changes in Medi-Cal in California. And again, in California, it's called Medi-Cal, even though it's Medicaid in the other states. Starting this year, in January 1st, most dual eligible beneficiaries that weren't already enrolled in a Medi-Cal managed care plan are going to be enrolled in a Medi-Cal plan in 2023. Now, when they say Medi-Cal managed care, most agents think of managed care as an HMO. The choice of words by the state of California's Department of Healthcare Services probably wasn't the best. So these are not HMO plans, you guys. These are Medi-Cal only services. So let's say that somebody was in Northern California in Santa Clara County. There's a Santa Clara County Family Health for the Medi-Cal services only. Okay. But in some counties like Kern County or Tulare County, there wasn't a Medi-Cal plan that was out there already in the county. So they actually started having one January 1st. And so people had to move off of the state of California Medi-Cal into a Medi-Cal plan that was offered by either a carrier or by the county health. And people received notices in the mail November 1st and December 1st about these changes. But here's the thing. If somebody is, they've got Medicare and they're getting these Medi-Cal plan cards, it doesn't change their Medicare benefits. It doesn't change the providers that they're able to see. They can continue to see those same providers. They can continue to go to the same hospital they've been going to, and so on. So this is where just prior to January 1st, there was about 70% of the beneficiaries that were dual eligible for Medicare and Medi-Cal that were enrolled in these Medi-Cal only plans. I'm going to call them Medi-Cal only plans so it's not as confusing. But starting January 1st, most of those other 30% were enrolled into the Medi-Cal only plans that are out there. So next slide, if you would please, Neil. Thank you. So here's the counties where we already had the Medi-Cal, and here's counties where they are going to be enrolled or were enrolled as of January 1st. So the first paragraph there, counties where dual eligible beneficiaries will be or were enrolled as of January 1st includes Alameda, Alpine, Amador, and so on. As you can see there, I'm not going to read all of them off. But if you look in the second bullet point, that shows you the counties where people already had these Medi-Cal only plans, including counties like Ventura, San Luis Obispo, Santa Barbara, San Mateo. There's a lot of these counties that used to have, or 7 of these counties, I should say, used to have the CalMedi Connect plans. So they now do have the Medi-Cal only, but they also have some dual special needs plans available in those counties. And that brings me to the third bullet point, which is the Medi-Cal matching plan policy. So in 12 of the largest or medium counties here in California, beneficiaries who are already enrolled in a Medicare Advantage plan were going to be enrolled in a matching Medi-Cal only plan if one was available. So let's say that somebody in Los Angeles County had HealthNet for their Medi-Cal only services. They got a card for HealthNet, but let's say that they had United Healthcare as a regular Medicare Advantage plan. Well, if somebody decided to enroll a prospect or a client into the LA Care dual special needs plan, since LA Care has a Medi-Cal only plan, that person would be changed from the HealthNet Medi-Cal only to the LA Care Medi-Cal only because they're now in a Medicare Advantage dual special needs plan that has a matching Medi-Cal plan available. But let's say that somebody has let's say that they have, let's say that they have Scan Health Plan and they have LA Care as their Medi-Cal only, and you enroll them into United Healthcare. They would be able to keep that LA Care Medi-Cal only just for their Medi-Cal services as they've always had. So that's where the matching comes in. If there is a plan available for Medi-Cal only services that matches the carrier that they have a dual special needs plan for, then that's what they'll be moved to. Next slide. So again, let's talk about a needs assessment, because for dual special needs plans, as with any other Medicare Advantage plan, you do want to do a needs assessment because if done properly, it'll make the enrollment happen for you. But the key question to ask is this: in addition to your health benefits, what extras are important to you? Is it vision, hearing, dental, over-the-counter products, or even transportation? And let them tell you, because the Part A and Part B benefits are fairly vanilla. I mean, they don't change from one plan to another, but it's the extras that can really matter to people. So once you know what extras are important, then you can look at the dual special needs plans that would be available to them. Now, if they have Medicare and Medi-Cal, let's say that they're, dual, there's one other question that you should ask, and it's this. Do you need assistance with groceries or utilities? Is there something that you need help with? Because in reality, these folks may or may not have the ability to keep up with inflation with their benefits that they have from CalFresh. So in Nevada, you have Medicaid and you have the food stamps, or the other SNAP program, as it's also known. In California, the SNAP program or food stamps is known as CalFresh. And I think we all know and recognize that there are people out there who really do need to have extra money for groceries right now. And some of these dual special needs plans have as much as $150 a month for groceries. Some of them have $50 a month. Some of them have $30 a month. All of that can help people who are having food insecurities and can't really afford groceries. Some of them, they can use money that's on a card, a flexible card, for utilities, for their Wi-Fi. So this is a very important thing to look at, in addition to transportation and so on, so that you can help get them into a plan that would be the most beneficial for them. Next slide. So this is a picture of the needs assessment that is available to you. You'll see that it's also a fillable PDF. And if you don't have a copy of this, you can do a couple of things. First of all, you could pull it off of your Berwick agent portal. You can also ask for it from Lisa at AMA by emailing lisa@coveredama.com. So with that needs assessment, obviously you want to match doctors to the medical groups so that the doctors can be in one medical group so that they can be on a Medicare Advantage, HMO, or dual special needs plan. And you're also going to be evaluating their medications to make sure that the medications are covered in that drug list or formulary that the dual special needs plan has, just like you would for a regular Medicare Advantage plan. Next slide. So here's some little factoids that I wanted you guys to make sure that you knew. Some doctors or medical groups might not contract with Medi-Cal or Medicaid, but they do contract with a carrier's dual special needs plan. So if that medical group doesn't contract directly with Medicaid or Medi-Cal, but they do contract with a dual special needs plan, that's great, because then you can enroll them with that medical group with that dual special needs plan. It makes it easy for the doctor not to have to also bill to Medicaid or Medi-Cal. So it's a win-win for all involved. If a person goes to a neighborhood clinic or an emergency room at a hospital for care, they might wait hours to be seen. But if they have a Medicare Advantage plan and they're part of a medical group, making them a member of a medical group, they're going to get seen with that doctor, usually within 15 minutes of that appointment time. Now, if a person has only Medicare and Medi-Cal or Medicaid, and they need a surgery, guess where they end up? The county hospital. I don't know about you, but I wouldn't want to go to county hospital for a surgery that I might need. Now, a person who's Medi-Medi that doesn't have any other coverage to go with it. So picture this, they have the Medicare card and they have the Medicaid or Medi-Cal card. They're not going to get a reminder phone call about annual physicals, about mammograms, well-man exams, well-woman exams, or other preventative care. Why? Because they're going to have to keep track of it, because they're not a member of a medical group. So they have to keep track of all those appointments. I myself used to have a HMO for my group health, but then it got changed to a PPO. Guess what? I actually missed some of my annual physicals for a couple of years because I didn't remember. I couldn't keep track of things. I'm way too busy. So same thing with a Medi-Medi. It may not be that they're too busy, but it might not be at top of mind. So you can imagine how helpful it is for them to be a member of a medical group that's now going to call them with reminder phone calls about their care, or having a case manager for their diabetes to give them reminders about taking their blood sugar readings or taking their insulin and so on. Very, very important. Having only Medicare and Medicaid or Medi-Cal means also that their care is not coordinated, because they're not members of a medical group or network. So they might be going to a doctor with one medical group way on the other side of the county and another doctor over here closer to where they live, but those doctors aren't talking to one another if they're not in the same medical group. So they might get duplicate types of tests done. They might get too many extra x-rays done, or perhaps their medications aren't going to be matched up against one another. So this is where they would have better healthcare outcomes if they're in a coordinated type of plan, so that the doctors are talking with each other. And neither Medicaid nor Medi-Cal, people who have Medicare as well, covers a person for emergency or urgent care. None of those cover emergency or urgent care outside of the country. Medicare doesn't cover you outside of the country. Neither does Medicaid or Medi-Cal. But if you have a dual special needs plan or a regular Medicare Advantage plan, they cover you when you're out of the area. They cover you when you're out of the country, some of them for an unlimited amount. So these are factoids to help you understand how you are able to help these folks that are out there in the Medi-Medi community. Next slide. So when overcoming objections, I think the most prevalent objection out there is that, quote, I have all I need with Medicare and Medi-Cal. I have everything I need from Medicaid and Medicare. Well, you could simply answer, I agree with that you do get a lot of coverage from those two programs, but outside of regular health coverage, what else is most important to you? And then I want you to pause and then give some suggestions if they don't let you know. You might give them suggestions like vision, dental, hearing aids, perhaps over-the-counter items. What about acupuncture or chiropractic? Are those important to you? Maybe transportation? By the way, do you ever travel out of the country? And let them tell you about those things, and then you have some good reasons to tell them about these dual special needs plans. Another objection might be, I go to a clinic in my neighborhood and don't have a way to get to other doctors. Your answer might be, I understand. I don't like to deal with traffic either. Did you know that there are Medicare plans for folks with Medi-Cal or Medicaid that have transportation to doctor appointments, labs, physical therapy, and even pharmacies at no cost to you? And then tell them about that dual special needs plan's benefits. Another objection might be, I don't like change. So you might answer, neither do I. However, since you have Medicare and Medi-Cal, you have a special election period every quarter to enroll in a plan. And if you don't like it, you can go back to the way things are. Let's give it a try. Another objection might be, I tried going to a doctor that my daughter recommended, but they don't take Medi-Cal. So you might answer, I'm glad your daughter helps you with some of your medical decisions. You know, there are Medicare plans called dual special needs plans that you qualify for. Some doctors that don't take Medi-Cal are contracted with some of these plans. So let's look up that doctor. Also, if you'd like to call your daughter, she can participate in our search. Because if somebody has a friend or family member that assists them with their medical decisions, it's really best to try to pull them in as well in this circumstance, so that they would be able to say yes or no with their loved one or their friend. Next slide. So in closing, I want to let you know the keys to selling to duals and overcoming objections is pretty simple. First of all, do a thorough needs analysis. And then, most importantly, listen. God gave you 2 ears and 1 mouth. So close the mouth sometimes and really listen close. and it will help you to determine what plan would be most beneficial for that person sitting in front of you. Acknowledge their concerns, empathize with them, suggest solutions, and stay in contact with them throughout that enrollment process so that they know they have an agent who cares and can guide them. You know, you're serving the community, and at the same time, good things come back to you in the form of enrollments and or referrals.
Thanks, Judy.
Thank you.
Really
You're
appreciate
welcome.
that. And that's Judy's contact details there. I'm sure most of you know this by now. But if you've got any other questions, guys, please reach out to Judy or one of the AMA team. Thank you again, Judy, so much. In fact, I think you covered that so well. We have 0 questions so far. Don't forget, guys, put your questions in the question box. If you have any, we can answer it as we go. Just to let you know, there will be, after this, we'll send you an email, everybody that attended today, and it will have a couple of documents, a couple of handouts on it. So we'll actually send you a couple of things. The needs assessment, the fillable one, we'll send you a copy of that as well through electronic mail. And the other thing we'll send you guys is we've actually done a 2023 D-SNP comparison by county, and we'll get the electronic one sent to you as well, and a copy of today's deck. So those will be with you probably at the end of today or tomorrow. We'll get those out to you. So again, thanks, Judy, for your presentation.
My pleasure, as always, Neil.
Okay, so we're going to look into a little bit of Medicare marketing insights into our survey. I'm going to now introduce you to someone some of you have probably seen and heard on our Friday call. A couple of you might have met Michael if you're out and about at some of our events. Michael's going to talk through the survey we did and also some hints and tips on some marketing. So Michael, over to you.
Thank you, Neil, and hello, everyone, and welcome our new guests who are attending for the first time. I'm going to keep this brief because I think the gist of this is to share the results. We did a survey of agents post-AEP, and we're trying to learn more about your needs. So what did you experience in 2022, the whole year, and specifically during AEP? And we promised to share that with you, so that's what we'll do today. Very quickly, the survey was 335 agents, mostly in California, but some in Nevada, probably about 90-10 split. And we were asking about their production. Most of the agents had a collective experience of about 6 years. So that generally means they've been doing Medicare for 6 years on average, and may have been life, health, maybe even group or something else before then, but dedicated to Medicare for the past 6 years. About 88% of agents said that this was their primary focus. So not group, not IFP, 88% roughly said Medicare is almost all I do. Next slide. What we found is interesting, and this one isn't terribly interesting. The more experience you have, the more business you sold. Intuitively, I think that makes sense. And here's the number. During the entire year, we found that agents on average were producing 110 applications. And if you click on the next slide, that'll give you a breakdown of what happened during AEP. So roughly 65% of your business is done during AEP, which begs the question, is that on purpose? Or is that simply a matter of, you pour your heart and soul into AEP, and when you're done with it, you're exhausted and you're too tired, and you take the rest of the year, not off, but in a lower gear. So I think, the learnings from this we would want to share is, to put some thought and some planning around, if it's your desire to sell year round, what tools might you need to be better at that? So here's one example. On average, 50 minutes end to end. So that does not include appointment setting, pre-needs call if you do that before you actually have your meetings. So this is the actual time, be it on the phone or face-to-face. When we did this in person, I was interested to hear some comments. Some agents did a lot longer, some agents did a lot less. And then of course the difference would be, well, It would be shorter if you have renewing clients, and longer if you had brand new clients, especially those that are D-SNP and might be new to learning about their new benefits. So, but anyway, put it all together. When we do this survey, we'll separate those two, new versus renewing, but 50 minutes on average is the number. Curious to hear, maybe you want to share in the comments what your experience is. And again, and this wasn't part of the survey, but anecdotally, we took note of two different types. We had agents that we deemed to be somewhat in maintenance mode, and that's a good thing. It's not a bad thing. Maintenance mode means you've been doing this maybe for a bit. You've established a book of business, and a nice book of business that does pretty well with steady referrals. So you're growing, slow and steady growth. It could very well be by design. Maybe this is what you intend to do. You aren't looking to work more hours in the week, and this is, the gear you're comfortable in. And that's all of that's great, and a lot of us are striving to get to maintenance mode. Growth mode, on the other hand, might be a different category with different needs. That might be an agent who's just getting started, or maybe someone who's been doing this a while and is ready to get to that next level of growth. So say, for example, you've been doing this 7-8 years, and you've gone through your phase 1, your hard lessons, you got better in year 2 and 3, maybe year 4 and 5, you got into a nice rhythm and got a nice book of business going. But maybe now you're at that level of, okay, I'm not a newbie, I'm not a rookie to this, but I need to get into growth mode, and maybe I'm willing to spend some money in marketing, build some tools, maybe even hire some support staff. The point to this is, for AMA, not knowing which mode you're in and which category you are, it's helpful to let Neil and his team know which category you fall in, so we know how to support you. Because I do think it is different. The needs of those who are in maintenance mode might have different needs than those who are in growth mode that are looking for more aggressive growth, lots of leads, willing to put in more hours, and maybe even invest more in events and marketing. Next, please. So this one I thought was also interesting, and many agents told us that call recording was a small but not a driving factor. Most of them were driven by, so 75% said, or rather 50% of agents said that they did 75% or more of their enrollments in person. And when we probed a little deeper, we found out, well, it's because that's what the clients preferred, or that's what the agent preferred. That's how I have the most success. I have a kiosk, I go to events, I do certain events every Tuesday, Thursday at a clinic or at some place where they know where to find me. And that's what works for them. And I think some of the stats Neil shared earlier support that a lot of this business is better and preferred, at least from the seniors' point of view, to be done in person. But again, call recording was a factor for some, and I think we'll talk about that in a minute. Next slide, please. No surprise, and this is a topic that comes up all the time. Agents want leads, 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 leads. And we'll have more to share on leads and new leads programs happening this year. But I want to pause and point out the obvious, your current clients and getting referrals from your clients. There's loads and loads of opportunity. And when we did this session in person, when we talked around the room, a lot of agents admitted that, yeah, I probably don't ask for referrals as much, or I mean to do it, but I don't do it enough. And I think a recurring theme that kept coming up is whether or not they have any automation in their agency, whether or not you're using a CRM or some kind of a system that automates your referral process. So it could be as simple as having a group email that says, hey, we just finished AEP. I think you're very happy with the outcome. We got you a new plan, got you, if it was a D-SNP plan, got you into a plan with loads of valuable extra benefits. You seemed very happy. Would you mind telling a friend? And that simple act of asking for a referral could lead into loads and loads of more opportunities. So we'll talk more about leads, but pay attention to the leads that are right there in your own client list. Next slide, please. All right. So this is a summary here. So, and the first one I'm especially grateful for, because I think agents were very honest to say, look, I'm glad you're talking about it because no one else is. Call recording is a major pain. So for those of you that have to do, your business on telephone, and, most of us do some on phone, right? The CMS call recording came all at once, didn't have time to prepare or practice. We're doing the best we can using Zoom, Ring Central, Medicare Center, or a combination of those. And frankly, agents admitted that they said, I could probably use some more practice. I could probably use some best practices to make sure that I'm doing this the right way. Am I setting it up properly? Is it better to warn in advance that we're going to do this so I don't spring it on them on the call? Or how to overcome objections when the Medicare beneficiary doesn't understand or doesn't like, you're going to record my call? Why? I don't want that. So anyway, we're going to be doing a webinar this month, and going to cover, I think there's a invitation in your inbox already. If not, we'll send you the link. That'll go into best practices for this, because some agents are definitely using this as an advantage, and it's not even a speed bump, it's less than that. So we'll share some of those on the next webinar. A good opportunity now that we're finishing Q1 and we're in a new stage here where it's a good time to review your business plan. So again, opportunities with the Medicare resource centers. Neil's got loads of opportunities. It's no coincidence, by the way, we're talking about D-SNP, because most of the lead opportunities, if you look around the different carriers, most of them are focused on growing D-SNP. And of course, the SEP period is a great opportunity, for those members or beneficiaries to get enrolled in the right plan if they didn't during AEP. So take a look at that and brush up on your D-SNP skills, because that's what's hot. And then the next one, hit that next button, please. And again, marketing. So CRM, most agents we talked to did not have a CRM. Some had tried a few and landed on doing nothing. It was too complicated. It was too expensive. I didn't know how to use it. Or others said, I've looked at 5 or 6 of them and I haven't picked one yet. What do you think? So that's another webinar that's coming up next month, I think in April, that's going to review the CRM list. Neil and I took a look at literally over a dozen, maybe 15, Neil. And there's some that are super, super impressive, but also very intimidating, very expensive. So Salesforce is brilliant, but it's probably more than most agents need. And there's loads of other ones. Keep, for example, KEAP. Look them up if you like, or there's some that are designed specifically for insurance agents. I think this is going to be the key for those of you that are looking to get to that next phase. And again, we're automating referral requests, getting appointments set, and automating some of your emails so that it drives leads to your landing page and sets appointments for you. So next one, please. We'll do that next month and do a little bit more. This I'll go through quickly, and I'm kind of stating the obvious. The Medicare market is very predatory. There's loads and loads. I mean, the reason for the CMS rules are because of the TPMOs and their predatory practices. Not all of them, but some of them, doing some things that are switching seniors from different plans. The simple point here is, to make sure that your customers know that you're one of the good guys. And the best way to demonstrate that is compliance. So let them know that the CMS call recording is for their protection. Let them know that you're fully compliant with it. Let them know that you can answer all of the questions and all the plans that you represent. And I think it's a good idea to proactively warn them about those calls. Be careful when you get a call, especially if they're not recording it. That means they're out of compliance. And that last little note there, I mean, it's sort of funny, I guess, but a lot of seniors have expressed something like this. I wish my grandkids were agents. Maybe they'd call me more often. I think that's true. Seniors are so popular during AEP and during the SEP period. Just let them know you're there and what to watch out for, because they're still calling. Next slide, please. All right. So, and again, I think I just said this, what we're doing is super important, very valuable. And, if you're comfortable wearing that badge as an advocate just simply means you look after and care for the needs of someone else. So a lot of these mega call centers are making agents look bad. I think Neil already expressed his comments to CMS in the form of a letter. He shared feedback on your behalf that said, look, there's loads of good agents out here, and these rules are a bit punitive and punishing the good agents, independent agents that are out here that we're already doing good work. Now we're all penalized by these rules. So anyway, let them know that you're an advocate looking on their behalf. And I really, I know I'm preaching to the choir here, but the work that you all are doing, I think of my father and his needs as a Medi eligible client of AMA, and the loads of help that he got working with good agents versus all of the stuff in his mailbox that I throw out on his behalf. It's scary. If he didn't have someone looking out after him and some good agents like the agents through AMA, he'd be in their crosshairs too. Next, please. All right. So real quick, I think, I'll give you the short version of this. If you have a brand, build on it. So Neil shared an example of a woman who does her setup at a kiosk, and she's there every Thursday. And of course, the one Thursday she's not there, a guy finally shows up and says, I've seen you here every week for weeks. The one day I'm ready to go and she's not here. Neil, of course, I think was there to help. But I think the point of that is try to be consistent. If you have a brand and people expect you to be there on Monday or Thursday or whatever it is, try to keep that consistent. Share with Neil if you speak languages fluently and can be helpful specifically with the D-SNP leads that are coming our way. Raise your hand, send them a note, when you meet one-on-one, let them know that that's what you're available for, and you'll be on the top of our short list when those leads come through. And again, update your business plan. This is a perfect time to take another pass at it before we get closer to AEP. Next, please. All right, this is maybe super obvious, so I'll be even quicker about this. Facebook is down, or rather, my watch has opinions. Facebook is up, that's no surprise, and direct mail is down. So direct mail already had a pretty low 2% return rate. It's down to closer to 1% now. So as you're thinking about spending money on marketing, take a consideration. If $5,000 is generally ballpark what it would cost to send out 10,000 leads. For that same amount of money, you could probably do TV. And with a TV ad, you could probably also get the digital assets, meaning you could take the video clip, put it on your website, send it out in email blast. Neil's got some good spots that he's done on TV that I think are really cool, very impressive, done during the AEP season. And again, he owns those assets that he can use whenever he wants to. And again, it's the same spend probably of what you would have spent for a direct mailer that is dead as soon as they throw away the mailer. Next, please. All right. Neil loves this saying, sweat equity means if you've got more time and more effort than money, then maybe it's just about grinding it out, just like we've all done in our careers. If you don't have loads of money to spend, there's still ways to grow, joining at Neil's Medicare resource centers or other opportunities that he has for enrollments. That last comment is asking about co-op. When you're talking to carriers asking for money, just keep in mind that for every $1,000 that you ask for, roughly they're expecting 10 or more enrollees. So roughly 75 to 100 bucks each. So if you put together a proposal and you talk to a carrier about getting some co-op money, keep in mind, AMA might be able to partner with you. You might be able to get partnerships split 2 or 3 ways even. But just remember that there's a formula there and where they're looking for a realistic return on that investment. Next slide, please. I think that might be it, actually. So we got through quickly, but we're a little bit over time. I'll turn it back over to Neil, who I think has the Q&A lined up. Any questions come through the chat?
Let's have a little look there. Thank you so much for that, Michael. Some great information. Looks like we don't have any questions so far. So if you have any, just please put them in the Q&A box there and we'll get to them as soon as you can. As Michael said, We're running a little over time here, guys. Want to keep this fairly rigid to our time schedule, but I'm going to sum up really what we spoke about today, just in a few little kind of closing comments there. So first of all, I think what I was talking about, yeah, AMA is changing. We're doing some new things. You've probably seen our new website, our new logo, etc. But that's the start of it. This is going to be about providing you guys, our agents, everything you need. We want to be that agency that you deserve. So we're going to be working hard behind the scenes on that. We're going to be getting better communication, and even things like our portal with our recordings. We're recording all of these, so you can go back and listen to them. You can fast forward and listen to the bits that you need to brush up on those, on some of those things that you may have forgotten or you may need extra help in. So we're going to be doing that. We're going to be recording all of our Friday calls. So we're going to strive to get better for you guys. That's the first thing I want to talk about today. The second thing was, look, Medicare is here to stay, and there's a huge opportunity. There's, as I said before, there's over 28 million people on Medicare Advantage plans. That's a lot of people, guys, and that's going to grow at almost 10,000 a day. And that's going to continue growing for the next 10 years. So the baby boomer population isn't changing. It's not going away. It's going to grow for the next 10 years. And then on top of that, penetration to those clients that have Medicare onto Medicare Advantage is going to grow about 13%. So that gives you two ways to grow your business over the next 10 years. Really, really important. So Medicare is here to stay. The other thing is Medicare is going to change, probably at a quicker rate than you've ever seen before. You've seen some of the changes and the talking with CMS and the rule changes or the proposed for this year. We're going to keep you up to date. Proposed rule changes aren't in. Don't worry about things that you cannot affect. Worry about those things that are right in front of you today. We're going to jump into that call recording straight away this month. As Michael said, in fact, it's next week, and we'll be sending you guys, if you haven't seen it, have a look out for our email. We'll be sending that out very, very soon, so you can register for that event as well. Really excited to make sure we jump into that and make it as easy as possible. That call recording needs to be not a barrier. As Michael said, it needs to be not even a speed bump. It needs to be something that's business as normal, and you can oversee that so you can focus on the thing that you do great, which is sat in front of a client, helping that client get the best healthcare coverage they can. The last thing I want to talk about is how you're going to do that. How are you going to be that focus for change? And Michael spoke about that. We've got to understand you guys even more than we tried to. Part of what AMA wanted to build at the beginning, and we're still going to continue with this, is that community of agents. But to do that, we need to know a little bit more about you guys. Which mode are you in? Are you in growth mode? Are you in maintenance mode? What marketing are you interested in doing? All of those things, guys. We will sit down, pull up a marketing plan with you, go through it. Just email us your marketing plan. We'll make some comments and come back to you. Whatever that is, we are here for you. We are your partners in this journey for sure. So lots of things are going to be happening, lots of opportunities, whether it's leads, whether it's kiosks, whether it's resource centers, wherever you can get in front of clients, that's going to help you grow your business. If you're sat at home and you're doing different things at home and you are not getting in front of seniors, you are not focusing on growing your business. And if you can't do that all the time, then make sure you're growing your knowledge. And those two things together is going to help you be more successful in the future for sure. So that really sums up today. We've got a lot of trainings in the future here that we're going to be focusing on. Michael mentioned CRM. That's so important because it can give you time back on what you can deliver, time back on some of the things that you're not getting in front of clients for as well. Somebody mentioned about getting a copy of these slides. I mentioned earlier, everybody that participated, yes, you'll get a deck of these slides in a PDF form, and then we're going to also send you those 2 handouts that we have as well. So you'll get those handouts, and then you'll get this deck as well, so you can have that in electronic form. I'm so excited about this year, guys. Really are. Appreciate all of you coming on today's webinar. I know it's been about an hour and a quarter, but we wanted to make sure we went through that really important information. As Judy mentioned, Medi-Cal, Medicaid, those dual eligible plans and those dual eligible clients are out there. They need our help. And you know, by helping those clients, you're going to help put money in your pockets as well. Don't forget, there's many ways, even in lock-in, that you can grow your business, and we're going to be here with you every step of the way. Thank you for all of your comments on the questions and chat here. I think we've gone through them. I think that's it from me. Anything from any of our presenters before we sign off?
You want to advance the slide, Neil? I think there's a good QR code for, there you go. I think that's for agents that want to review and maybe add more contracts. Now's the time to do it, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Michael. Yeah, any of you that haven't contracted with AMA yet, not requested them, please just scan this with your phone, and this will allow you to get those contracts going as well. And of course, if you need new contracts, you can utilize that through your Agent Way program as well. And we're going to be doing a training on that in the up and coming weeks there. So this is that QR code for the Agent Way. If you're brand new, please click it today. Order your contracts and we'll get you going on those. And of course, if you want any new carriers, please reach out or use that as well. Thank you guys so much. Again, let's close out that Q1 strong. Finish out your kiosks, finish out your Walmarts, finish out your resource centers that you're doing, and then we can really get into Q2 and helping you with those SEP. Thank you guys. I really appreciate you coming on today. I'm going to leave the screen up for any other questions. And that is it. Have a wonderful rest of your Monday.